you guys? Welcome to another episode of Ask Alex, where this is a show where I take all your questions and answer them here on this show. I'm your host, Alex Hampton, and thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 47. I have done this for 47 episodes, and you guys keep coming back to watch all of this great movie news and pop culture stuff that is happening here on this show. I am so thankful you guys keep coming back. And if this is your first time ever watching this show, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and then hit that bell right next to it. That way you get all the notifications of every time I'm releasing an episode of Ask Alex or any other video here on my channel here on Momentum Media. A lot of great things to talk about on today's show. Oh, and by the way, if you want your topic or question on this show, it's very simple, guys. All you have to do is just send me an email at theaskalexshow@gmail.com. That's the askalexshow@gmail.com. If you submit your topic or question to this show, you could be possibly featured on this show with your topic or question. That's how I get all my topics here on this show. Now that we got out the way, let's go ahead and jump into the first question of the day. And the first question comes from a Graham Ward. And he writes, "Hey Alex, so this drama that Scorsese has started has now gotten Kevin Feige to respond to his comments. What do you think about Kevin Feige's comments towards Scorsese?" Well, thank you for your question, Graham. So what Graham is referring to, literally within the last 24 hours, Kevin Feige has now given his comments about what Scorsese has said. If you don't know what's been going on, Scorsese basically said that he felt as though that the Marvel films were not cinema. He then doubled down on his comments, and then when Bob Iger came out and made his comments about the MCU, he then kind of retracted his comments, and then there are other reports that he kind of doubled down again on his comments, and now Kevin Feige basically came out and threw his hat in the ring about how he felt about the cinematic universe that he created. And basically, I'm just going to paraphrase what Kevin Feige said. He basically said that, you know, movies are cinema. You know, I'm not really focused on what Scorsese's opinion is about, you know, those movies. His comments towards Scorsese's comments were very just as I'm unbothered by a filmmaker telling me or telling anyone about how they feel about the MCU not being cinema. And I agree with Kevin Feige's comments. Listen, here's my issue with Scorsese's comments that I've said before on this show. Listen, at the end of the day, there is a movie out there for everyone. Regardless if I like it, regardless if you like it, regardless if I don't like it, regardless if you don't like it. It does not make it less cinema because you don't like something or you like something. At the end of the day, movies are subjective. And let's be clear here. Marvel films, for the most part, in this comic book genre, movies, right, are the only films that are back-to-back putting out movies that are over $500 million at the worldwide box office. You have some that have done $1 billion back-to-back-to-back. Case in point, we had Infinity War. Then we had Captain Marvel. Both movies, $1 billion movies. Captain Marvel, $1 billion, then Avengers Endgame, $1 billion. Listen, at the end of the day, Marvel has created a structure where these movies are making anywhere from $500 million to $1 billion. And then from sometimes $1 billion to $2 billion. There are other genres that are not really making those numbers. The closest genres that I can see making those numbers are like Star Wars, sci-fi fantasy, and maybe a drama here and there too, or maybe I know action is like with the Fast and Furious franchise, right? But the latest two movies, 7 and 8, both made $1 billion. So there are genres that make those types of money, but for the most part, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been killing it in the box office. So I agree with Kevin Feige's comments that he's not really bothered by what Scorsese or anyone has to say about MCU. Fun fact, Chadwick Boseman even said essentially the same thing when he heard of these comments from Scorsese. And he basically said, listen, you know, these are films that I'm a part of and I don't agree with Scorsese's comments. So here's the thing. Scorsese can say anything he likes. It's his opinion. It's not a fact, it's opinion. I would dare say that there are other filmmakers who are in the same caliber as him feel as though is that the current movie that's about to come out on Netflix called The Irishman, which I haven't seen yet, which I will see. You putting that movie on Netflix and have a limited release in theaters would be considered by most big time movie makers is not cinema because you're putting it on a streaming service. Most filmmakers don't feel as though that could be considered cinema because it's on Netflix. And again, I don't feel that way, but I'm sure that there are a lot of people who do feel that way. So I agree with his comments, Graham. I think Kevin Feige answered it the best way ever. And this drama about the MCU not being cinema films needs to stop. It really needs to stop. Like, Scorsese should really shut up. Just stop talking. Focus on The Irishman and focus on whatever projects you have that's coming up. So that's what I would say about that. Let's go ahead and jump into the next question, which comes from an Eva Taylor. And she writes, hey Alex, so we got our first little teaser of the Crisis of Infinite Earths. Do you think that this crisis will be bigger than the Justice League movie? Well, thank you for your question, Eva. I'm going to be honest with you. The last crossover, Elseworlds, and then the crossover before that, Crisis on Earth X, both of those crossovers were bigger than the Justice League movie. So this crossover that's coming out, it's going to be bigger than the Justice League movie. I think any crossover that they have done, for the most part, maybe not the first one, but it's going to be bigger than the Justice League movie. This crossover is so unprecedented that we're about to see things that we have dreamed about when we read comics. I was a comic book junkie. I read all of the new and old stuff that I could get my hands on. So just to see what they're about to do, and I read the Crisis run. I can't wait to see what they're about to pull out. And to see that teaser of Black Lightning and Brandon Routh as Kingdom Come Superman and just a whole lot of other different scenes. We see Arrow and Batwoman walking next to each other. Listen, this is going to be a cinematic TV experience that we have probably never seen. And I can't wait. I really cannot wait. So, to answer your question, yes, it'll be bigger than Justice League. Let's go ahead and go into your next question, which comes from a Lewis Shaw. And he writes, hey Alex, so HBO Max is coming out in May. And I heard you say that there isn't a streaming service that can compete with Disney Plus. But HBO Max has a lot of content coming to the service that I would say could easily compete with Disney Plus. Do you think HBO Max could compete with Disney? Well, thanks for your question, Lewis. So I'm just gonna be honest because I have a video that I'm making about this particular question that you asked me. So I really do appreciate the question. So I'm gonna try to keep this very brief. HBO Max, in terms of content, does have a lot of content that they have that can compete with Disney in regards to what they have on HBO, what they have with Cartoon Network, what they have with DC. I mean, they have a flood of content. I mean, HBO Max is owned by Warner Media. Warner Media is one of the longest living companies in the world. So they have original content. I mean, they have a lot of great things on that service. To what I say that their content would compete or rival with Disney, yes. But, and I'll get more into this in the video that I'm making for this particular subject, but my overall argument with Disney is that Disney is offering you two services that can easily wipe out HBO Max. Most people can do Disney Plus for $6.99 a month, where you get unlimited content of their Disney Vault plus new stuff that they're creating with Star Wars and Marvel and Pixar and all that other good stuff. You can also stream up to 4 devices, and on top of that you get unlimited downloads, and everything's going to be streamed from 4K and up. So you have that for just Disney Plus, and the price is only $6.99. You can also do 3 services with you can get 3 streaming services with Disney Plus for $12.99, where you have something for your kids with Disney and adults. You also have sports, and you also have Hulu. And if you've ever seen Hulu's catalog, they have FX, they have Showtime, they have History, they have Cartoon Network, they have a whole lot of other IPs on Hulu that you can license, or that you can watch, excuse me, through that service of $12.99. So my only thing with that is that not only does Disney have the content to compete with HBO, but they're beating them in terms of how many streaming services that they're offering, plus the price difference and the content. When I look at HBO Max, there's a lot of content on HBO Max that is great. The problem is that although they have great content, they're offering one service for $15 a month, where I can get 3 services for $12.99 a month that offers the same amount of content, but, well, not the same amount, I'm sorry, more content at a better price, 3 potential services. Or I could dare say 1 service for the lower the price with a whole lot of content. So you have to keep that in mind. But I will go in deeper detail about that in another video that I'm doing for that. So thank you for your question, Lewis. Now let's go ahead and jump into the final question of the day, which comes from a Steve Naples. And he writes, "Hey Alex, as the 2019 year is wrapping up, what is next for your channel? Can you also tell us why you stress the importance of owning your own content?" Well, thank you for your question, Steve. I'm going to try not to go on a rant about this, but 2019 has been a great year. As we end the year, I will definitely do more stuff like Ask Alex and random videos here and there. But I'm making a video of my 2020 of announcements of what's gonna happen for Momentum Media in 2020. But I can definitely give you some teasers of what I will be doing. So later on in 2020, I'll be announcing my own original film that I've been working on, and getting my crew together for that. So I'll definitely be releasing what the name of the film is and what type of film it is for that. Ask Alex will continue. 2020, I will bring back Hero TV, but I'm revamping it in a different way. And also in 2020 is where I'm going to launch a lot of other different things, a lot of other announcements that I will personally be going to, and other series that I'll be doing here. So I don't want to announce all of it just yet, but just know Ask Alex will be coming out regularly. Hero TV is coming back, and you can look forward to a new short film or feature film later on in that year. So that will be coming. And also, the reason why I stress the importance of owning your content, listen, as a black man, I noticed that a lot of my people don't own a lot of the things that they have. So, you know, I would always tell someone who is starting a YouTube channel or has a YouTube channel to keep going. You know, you don't know what it could turn out to be. You know, when I look at, like, for instance, I love Black Nerd, right? Black Nerd is really the only black person on YouTube that has, like, a strong presence as he does. I don't know too many other black people who do. When I look at, and I like, for instance, I love watching Collider. I love watching, like, the Schmodown. I love watching Screen Junkies. And this has nothing to do with race, but none of those companies are owned by a black person or by a person of color. So for me, I'm like, okay, I want to own something where I can grow it to be bigger. And that's not crapping on like the Schmodown or Collider. Like, I love those, regardless if they're owned by a black person or not, or a person of color or not. I still watch their content, but it's important for me to continue to grow and to continue to keep going. So I would encourage someone who has a YouTube channel and may have stopped or is thinking about starting a YouTube channel or thinking about starting anything, grow your stuff. It's important for you to grow it and own it and create it. It doesn't matter if someone likes it or not. It's yours and nobody can take it away from you. So that's how I feel about that. Thank you for your question, Steve. And that will do it for today's episode of Ask Alex. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you get all the updates of every time I'm releasing a video here on Momentum Media. A lot of great things are coming out on this channel, and the great way for you to support this channel is not only by subscribing, but go to my Patreon page. On my Patreon page, I have 3 tiers on there. Every dollar that you donate to this page helps us grow and create more content. Listen to me, guys. There will be more content if I got more supporters on my Patreon page. And as of right now, I don't have any. So if you want to support me on Patreon to help grow more, if you want to see more content from me, just support. I'm still going to put out stuff, but at the same time, I have a budget. So if you want more content from me, be a supporter. Just support it. Donate to the first tier or the second tier or the third tier. So that's how you can be involved here, are the things that we're doing here at Momentum Media. So thank you guys so much for your love, support. And as always, y'all have a blessed day.